Sussex's title is frozen. Harry and Meghan helplessly see how Americans boycott HRH. Hello and a very warm welcome back to Kate Middleton and the Queen News Channel. Harry has actually retained all of the titles that he had while he was still a working royal. In fact, nothing has been taken away from him. And according to a source, Harry is not going to become a U.S. citizen either because they don't want to lose any of his titles. See, to be a citizen of the U.S., Prince Harry would need to drop all of his foreign titles of nobility, and I guess he doesn't want to do that. So the title that Harry was born with is His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. And then when he got married to Meghan, Queen Elizabeth gave them titles. So Harry became HRH, Prince Harry the Duke of Sussex. And he's also the Earl of Dumbarton and the Baron Kilkeel. Now, Harry's not supposed to be using his HRH styling because now he lives in the US, and of course, he's not acting like a very good member of the royal family. Now, for a couple of people who have so many bad things to say about the royal family, it is interesting that Harry and Meghan just love their royal monogram. Apparently, they use it all over their house, according to reports. Just look at the welcome mat at Harry's house. You can see it there. Their monogram looks a bit like a letter M, but it's supposed to be a letter M and a letter H intertwined. That's marking Meghan and Harry's love story, barf. But anyway, what it reminds me of is Harry's great-great-uncle Edward VIII. Thanks to his own poor decision-making, he became the ousted Duke of Windsor. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor were so obsessed with his royalty, and they decorated everything in their French homes using his Prince of Wales monogram and also his King Edward VIII monogram. He was also known as David, so he and Wallace were not even supposed to be using these monograms, but they hung on to them throughout their entire lives. It was really quite pathetic. Now, David apparently tried to get Wallace an HRH, but Queen Elizabeth did not give in after she followed her father's lead. King George VI was David's brother, and he never gave Wallace an HRH. But of course, that did not stop him from dressing in his old royal robes and using his old monograms. And Meghan and Harry look like they're basically the same. I mean, they spent less than 17 months as working royals, but they are still hanging on to their brief royal life together as a married couple. One small difference was that at least Edward VIII had been sovereign, so he did deserve some respect for that at least. But Harry has never been something like that. I think as far as I can see, Harry's always been a loser. And with the sale of his book, there are so many interesting negative comments over its contents. I'm curious about what is going to happen if every newscaster out there agrees to have a news blackout on the activities of those two, maybe for at least the next month or so. I would love to see how Harry and Meghan would react to that. Now, in the UK, Harry may still be Prince Harry because that is his birthright. But in the US, no, not at all, because the US simply does not recognize titles of royalty. See, the U.S. fought a war back in 1776 to get away from having to follow the laws of the royals. So even titles like Duke and Duchess are not recognized. I do wish the people who interview them on TV would stop referring to them as Duke or Duchess or Prince. In the U.S., they are nobodies. Now, Harry believes that in the U.S. he is something so special because he's a prince, but the fact is he's not. He's not even a U.S. citizen. He has not earned any respect. He's just another American race and hate baiter. Unfortunately, race baiting can make people a lot of money, but it doesn't last for long. He and Meghan are actually hurting people who have to deal with real racism. And in my opinion, there's not so much racism anymore, so I do hope this market is going to die down. But what Meghan and Harry are doing is negatively affecting real people. They are so appalling. And Meghan and Harry whined that nobody wanted to help them when Meghan was feeling suicidal. Well, now they are free to seek good psychiatric help, so how long is it going to be until they do that? Now they're on their own, and Meghan is at least 44 years old, and surely she can figure out how to call a psychiatrist all by herself. That insecurity that we see from them because they always have to hold hands shouldn't be that difficult to treat. Harry needs to be in an institution, so I guess that's a pretty easy decision to make. And there's one more problem. Ever since Harry came to the US, is it true that now he's just a plain old mister and not royal? Because the concept of royal or royal title simply does not exist legally in the US. Well, technically, we would have to say yes. Meghan and Harry are just a couple of ordinary private citizens living their lives in the US. For reasons only they seem to understand, though, they keep on using those titles bestowed on them by the UK monarchy. But at the same time, they are living in a republic. Now, for even stranger reasons, a few citizens of America insist on using those titles too when referring to Meghan and Harry. Of course, Harry was born a royal prince, and he will always be one. Some people may argue that it is common courtesy to refer to him as prince, But in my opinion, no. On Harry's part, it is common courtesy to drop that title, and we need to respect the American values of the US that he and Meghan have chosen to live in. So I do wonder, what do they have going for them as just plain old Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor? Well, from what I can tell, nothing. Harry doesn't have any talents, he has no real job skills, and Meghan is a failed actress. So they're desperate for those titles because that gives them some kind of celebrity status, even in the US. Harry's going to hang on to that title because he just loves being Prince Harry, and he's desperate for the attention to manage life with the stars in California. But apparently, Harry did not like being a working royal, and Meghan was just bound and determined to cause trouble with the royal family. I suspect that was her plan all along. She wanted to just take the money and then run off to California. I mean, she made such a spectacle of herself on that Ellen show. And her Oscar-winning show performance confiding with Oprah, come on, I wanted to vomit. Tales of the private lives of the monarchy, including, of course, comments about racism. It is sad, it is pathetic, but it's true. Would Harry even have this same attitude if he were the heir apparent? I don't think so. And I'm not sure that you all know this, but so many of our soldiers who have bravely fought for us are tragically now living on the streets. See, being a soldier doesn't guarantee them a career. Meanwhile, they called Harry Bunker Harry for a very good reason. He was the pampered prince of very low academic ability. 10 years he spent in a vacuum where the least possible was done for him to get by when it came to grades. So the point I'm trying to make here is, where is Harry going to put those soldiering skills to work? There is not a whole lot of opportunity for aging soldiers who don't even have university degrees. Obviously, the job market for them is a very difficult one to break into. We can tell because there are so many former soldiers who are having a very difficult time finding work. And as for Meghan, well, she was a suitcase girl on some ridiculous game show. I wouldn't call that acting. And other than a few bit parts here and there, the pinnacle of her acting career was as a supporting cast member on a cable TV show that most people never even heard of, before she became famous for getting engaged to Prince Harry. Now, in my opinion, that does not qualify as a first-rate actress at all. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just stating the facts. In fact, I would say that even referring to Meghan as a second-rate actress is pretty generous. And the evidence I have to support that claim is actually they wrote her out of that show Suits. Meghan was not good enough to remain employed. I think that Harry is still using a diplomatic passport and visa. I don't think he has a regular passport with a spousal or some other type of visa. And I'm not sure what else he could even qualify for other than spousal. And that's also why Harry does not have a driver's license or even a real surname. Now, things are going to get very interesting if and when Harry loses that diplomatic passport. If the king asks the government to take away the passport when he is eliminated as a counselor of state, and he should be, apparently bills are pending to allow His Majesty to do a lot of things that Harry is not going to like. But of course, they have been a little busy over the last couple of weeks. And as usual, Harry isn't close to being as important as he believes himself to be. And you, what do you think about Harry and Meghan? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section, and everyone else can also discuss this couple. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share it with your friends and family who would enjoy it. And besides that, please subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen News channel to get more updates from our team. Now, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you in the next videos.